Hi friends! Today we will learn more about modal verbs. So let's start. In our last section, we have learned about main verbs, helping verbs, and linking verbs. Today we are going to learn about modal verbs that come under the category of helping verbs. Modal verbs are called so because they express modality. Some of the commonly used modals are can, could, may, might, shall, should, must, and had to. Now let's learn what is this modality. Modality is the way in which something happens or is experienced. Modality in the speaker's voice gives a sense of a person's mood. For example, you must do it. Here, the speaker is in a way commanding the other person to do something, and the listener is obliged to do that task. Modality also expresses the degree to which the work is important for the listener to do. You should do it. Here, the listener, you, is given a choice by the speaker to do the work he is told to do. Modality has to do with whether something is necessary, possible, or impossible. These are the modals used to express modality in English language. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, had to. Now let's learn some of the characteristics of modal verbs. Modals never change their form. That is, you cannot add s, es, or ed after modals. For example, she can sing very well. Here you cannot write she can sang very well or she can sing very well, as modals never change their form according to tense or person. Another example, she will participate in the competition next month. You can never write, she will participate in the competition next month, or she will participate in the competition next month. A modal will never change its form. A modal never changes its form according to tense or persons. Here we have the next characteristics of modal verbs. A modal verb is always followed by the base form of a verb. For example, she can sing very well. Here, can is the modal verb, sing is the main verb, and it can never be she can sang very well, or she can singing very well, or she can singed very well, because modal verbs is always followed by the base form of a verb. Another example, she could complete the work on time. Here, could is the modal verb. Complete is the main verb. You can never write, she could completing the work on time, or she could completed the work on time, as modal verb is always followed by the base form of a verb. Here are many examples for you. He must stop drinking. Here, modal verb is must, and the main verb is stop, which is in its base form. You should brush your teeth twice a day. Here, should is the modal verb, and brush is the main verb, and you can see the main verb is in its base form. You should read more often. Here, modal verb is should, and read is the main verb, and you can see read, word is in its base form. Can you meet me at 10? Here again, we have a modal verb, can, and the main verb, meet, and again a main verb in its base form. You ought to fulfill your promises. Here, modal verb is ought to, and main verb is fulfill, and again, the main verb in its base form. Now, let's learn about modal verbs that are used to express the ability or lack of ability. We can use can or can't in present and future tense to express the ability and lack of ability. Let's see some examples. I can help you in your studies. Here, can expresses the ability of the speaker to be able to help the listener in his studies. Joey can't speak French. Here, can't expresses the inability of Joey to speak French. In past tense, we use could or couldn't to express the ability or inability to do something. For example, when I was a child, I could jump very high. Here, could expresses the ability of the speaker to jump when he was a child. I couldn't do it back then. Here, couldn't expresses the inability of the speaker to do something in the past. Can or could, can are also used for taking permissions and giving permissions. For example, can you lend me your book? Or, can I borrow your book? Here, the speaker is asking for a permission to lend a book from the speaker. You can borrow my bike. Here, the speaker is granting the permission to the listener for letting him borrow his bike. Can or could are also used for making suggestions. For example, you could take a tour of the city tomorrow. Now let's learn about modals that are used to express a formal permission or a formal prohibition. May and might. You may start working here from tomorrow. Here, the speaker is giving a formal permission to the listener to work. You may not wear jeans to work. Here, the speaker is formally prohibiting the listener to not wear jeans to work. May or might are also used to make polite requests. For example, may I help you? Here, the speaker is politely offering himself to help the listener. Now let's learn the usage of shall, should, and ought to. Shall is used for a polite suggestion when we are quite sure of a positive answer. Shall we go for a walk? Here, the speaker is quite sure of a positive answer from the listener. And also, shall is only used with I or we. Should is used for a polite suggestion when we are not so sure of a positive answer. For example, should I call a doctor? Here, the speaker is not so sure about a positive answer from the listener. Should is also used to give advice. You should check the document before sending. Here, the speaker is advising the listener to check the document before forwarding it. Shouldn't is used to give advice about something that is wrong or unacceptable. Example, you shouldn't talk loudly in a hospital. Here, the speaker is advising the listener to not do something that is socially unacceptable. Now, let's learn about will and would. Will is used to make a statement about which we are certain or determined. I will work hard from now on. Here, the speaker is determined to work hard. I will come to college on a regular basis. Here, the speaker is determined to go to his college regularly. Would or wouldn't is used to denote habitual past action. When I was a child, I would spend hours playing with my toy car. Here, the speaker is giving information about his activities in the past. He wouldn't eat vegetables when he was a kid. He loves them now. Here, the speaker is providing information about someone's past activities. We can also replace the modal verb would with used to. Like, he was not used to eating vegetables when he was a kid. He loves them now. When I was a child, I used to spend hours playing with my toy car. When I was young, I used to go for a walk daily. So we can use the modal verb would with used to interchangeably. Now here we have the modal verbs must, have to, need to. They are used to express necessity or requirement. You must have a passport to cross the border. Here, the speaker is expressing necessity of having a passport to go abroad. You have to apply for a visa by March 10th. Here, the speaker is expressing an obligation on the part of the listener to apply for a visa. And the past form of must is had to or needed to. I had to work late in the evening on Monday. Here, the speaker is expressing an obligation of having worked late in the evening in the past. I needed to drink a few cups of tea in order to stay awake last night. Here, the speaker is expressing the obligation of taking too many cups of tea to stay awake. Must is used to make a statement about which the speaker is almost 100% certain. For example, Thomas has lived in Berlin for many years. His German must be very good. Here, the speaker is expressing his opinion about which he is very sure. Must not is used for expressing something prohibited or forbidden. You must not drive over the speed limit. Here, the speaker is prohibiting the listener to cross the speed limit. So friends, today we learned about modal verbs, their characteristics, and their uses. Now you can go ahead and take a quiz to learn more. Bye-bye. Tutway has thousands of animated videos on math, English, and science to clear the core basics of these subjects.